Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Breaking news, pedestrian killed. Part of I-85 in Butner is closed this morning after someone was hit by a car. What the WRAL Breaking News Tracker is learning from the scene and when that stretch of road could be reopened.
And it's another cold start out there this morning. The wind chills this morning almost everywhere are in the 20s. I'll show you how long the temperatures stay chilly for us.
Clearing the way. High-rise towers could be coming to North Hills. The vote to move forward today and how you can have a say. Good morning, everyone. It is 4:30. It is back to school for the kids and back to work for a lot of folks. Good to be with you. I'm Renee Chu. Let's get to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. It is a cold start, Elizabeth.
It is. Skies are clear, and today's weather will be nice and quiet. This is a live look at North Hills and around the Triangle. Temperature 32, and the wind is fairly light. Our wind is at 3 miles per hour, but coming out of the northwest, so it's a cold wind out there. But, you know, it doesn't take much to see a big drop in the temperature. Even with 3 miles per hour, it's 32, but feels like 29 in Durham and Raleigh. It's 22 in Southern Pines, 25 in Roxborough, feels like 22 in Fayetteville, feels like 27 in Rocky Mount and Wilson. So it's definitely a cold start for us this morning. We'll be in the 20s this morning all the way up until around 11 a.m. That's about the time we hit freezing, and highs will be in the low 40s. So again, a very cold, much below normal kind of day for us. We're going to see the Polar Express in place for the next couple of days, beginning to set the stage for what could happen for us over the weekend. We'll see a little bit of a bump up in our temperature on Thursday before another big plunge in our temperatures. We have the threat for a winter storm over the weekend, which could be significant. Details as we get a little closer, but I'll talk about what some of the scenarios could be coming up. Renee?
Elizabeth, thank you. Part of I-85 in Butner is shut down right now after a car hit somebody. That person has died. Let's get to Allie Calabar in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker with what she's learning on scene. Allie.
And Renee, police are still searching for the driver who hit and killed that pedestrian. This is what we're seeing right now. You can see officers, we have sheriff's deputies, police, and State Highway Patrol surrounding that scene of the crash. Now, we know from State Highway Patrol on the scene that a pedestrian was hit and killed by a vehicle around 2 this morning. That vehicle drove away from the scene, and around 3 this morning, State Highway Patrol tells me that they were investigating a possible driver in this crash, but they say that they are, of course, working to confirm that. We're working to get an update. This is I-85 North, and you can see that this section is closed. This is near NC 56. This is in Butner, and people and drivers are being detoured around this crash right here. Of course, we are staying on top of this. We're working to find out the identity of the person who was killed and the identity of the driver. Reporting live in Butner, Allie Calabar, WRAL News.
The double murder trial of Isaiah Ross resumes today in Orange County. Witnesses will be returning to the stand after the trial was postponed late last week. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live outside the courthouse this morning. Kelsey, the prosecution is set to continue making their case.
Yes, Renee, that's what we're expecting to see this morning here at the Orange County Courthouse. The court recessed on Friday without testimony after one of the attorneys had a family emergency, and of course, no court yesterday because of the holiday. We've been staying on top of this case since the very beginning. Isaiah Ross is accused of killing 14-year-old Lyric Woods and 18-year-old Devin Clark back in 2022. Several witnesses have already taken to the stand, including the medical examiner and the victim's parents. The medical examiner says Woods had 7 gunshot wounds and Clark had 6. Ross's attorneys say one of the victims was the aggressor, claiming Ross was acting in self-defense. So we're expecting to see the defense call all of their witnesses to the stand at some point this week. The trial continues this morning at 9:30. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Orange County.
This morning, we're working to learn more about a large law enforcement presence in Clinton. This is video of the scene on William Street from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker around 8:30 last night. Officers had a large portion of the road blocked off with crime scene tape as they investigated. We've reached out to Clinton police to find out what led to this. So far, we have not heard back. Happening today, Raleigh City Council is expected to vote on a zoning request that would clear the way for giant towers at North Hills. Before that vote, people who oppose the plan will be speaking at a public hearing. Kane Realty wants to build 4 towers around Six Forks and Lester Mill Roads. Those buildings could be as high as 37 stories, which would make them the tallest in Raleigh. City Council was expected to vote on the idea earlier this month, but delayed the vote to allow for more public comment. Some residents say they are opposed to the plan. They cite issues including potential traffic congestion and environmental impact.
One of the basic tenets of the comprehensive plan and Midtown area plan is that you build height from the core of the development and then you taper it down to the affected neighborhoods. That way they don't have the negative environmental impacts of shade, wind, and temperature that you can clearly see now in North Hills East.
Kane tried a similar proposal in 2021, but withdrew it in 2023. It's unclear why the rezoning request was initially withdrawn. Today's City Council meeting is scheduled to begin at 1 p.m. Today, 3 men charged with getting into a fight that ended with a bystander being shot on Glenwood South in Raleigh are expected in court. Stephen Bryant, Keyshawn Bryant, and Jaden Drawn are charged with inciting a riot. Raleigh police say the bystander who was shot is expected to be okay. For the past 2 years, Raleigh police have stepped up their presence in the area. However, neighbors say their safety concerns have grown as the population has.
Raleigh police have been great to work with, but we know they're understaffed. It's affected the way that we exist as a community. In fact, people have left and people are leaving because they don't feel safe in the area.
This is the latest crime to hit the social district in recent months. In November, at least 2 people were shot in a similar situation. And in July, there were 3 separate shootings off Glenwood in one night. Neighbors tell us they are having bi-weekly meetings with RPD to go over their concerns and safety initiatives. The 3 suspects are expected in court at 1:30. The Wake County School Board is set to talk about tight finances today. The school system told board members in December that budget cuts are a certainty next year. A drop in enrollment and rising costs are big reasons for cost cutting. WRAL education insider Emily Walkenhorst says inflation is also hitting schools as well.
They're trying to pay employees more to keep up with the cost of living, to make sure that they can retain those employees. There's also the cost of supplies, materials. The cost of building a school, for example, has multiplied just in the past 10 or 15 years. So these are expenses that the district has to keep up with, despite, maybe their enrollment not increasing all that much.
The superintendent plans to propose a budget for next year later this spring. Today's meeting starts at 2 p.m. You can follow our coverage of the Wake County Schools budget in the education section of WRAL.com. Tonight, protesters are expected to gather for a rally against ICE in downtown Raleigh. The rally starts at 5 p.m. at Moore Square. Organizers say they are protesting 1 year of President Donald Trump being in office for a second term. They are also calling for a general strike today, meaning no work, no school, and a refusal to participate in the economy. Neighborhood patrols are forming in Minnesota as ICE operations continue in that state. Members coordinate through encrypted messaging apps, sharing live updates when immigration agents are seen nearby, alerting people in real time. President Trump has threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act, and the Pentagon has told 1,500 soldiers to be ready in case of a possible deployment to Minnesota. Volunteers say they are stepping up to protect one another. Their presence is intended to reduce tensions and ensure accountability. A group of Buddhist monks is just days away from the Triangle. Their journey from Texas to Washington, D.C. has drawn huge crowds for weeks and has millions of followers online. Last night, the monks addressed a crowd of people in Greensboro before stopping to rest for the night. Today, they will be headed towards Pleasant Garden and Climax, North Carolina. Here's a map of where they plan to stop today. The monks are expected to reach Raleigh this weekend. As for exactly where they'll be walking, organizers say those details will be released soon. WRAL will keep you informed of the monks' route, arrival times, and any public events. Keep up to date here on WRAL News and on all our digital platforms. Today, a Harnett County woman and her mother charged in connection to a deadly DWI crash are set to go before a judge. Saturday morning, law enforcement says 40-year-old Goldie Marsh crashed a vehicle in Linden, that's just north of Fayetteville. The crash killed her boyfriend, Timothy McLean. According to warrants, troopers believe Goldie Marsh was high during the crash and ran from the scene, calling her mother to pick her up. This is what it sounded like on Broadcastify radio traffic when first responders got there.
You can downgrade everybody else. Got one confirmed.
All right, we have one subject in passenger seat. One innocent driver.
Documents claim her mother, Sharon Marsh, misled officers with a statement about who was driving. But she tells WRAL she had no idea how severe the crash was, saying her daughter did not tell her McLean was in the car. Both women are expected in court at 9 a.m. The Indiana Hoosiers are national champions in college football. Heisman-winning quarterback Fernando Mendoza and the Hoosiers finished off their season with a 27-21 win over Miami in last night's college football playoff championship game. The Hoosiers ended their season with a perfect 16-0 record. This is the first time Indiana has ever won a national championship in college football. It is 4:41. Looking for a suspect. Investigators believe they know who stabbed someone at a Wake County Walmart. The new information about the person who's accused. Calling for peace. Hundreds of people marched through downtown Raleigh to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., how they hope to carry forth his message and legacy. Here's a live look at Franklinton this morning, and it is frigid out there. It will be cold and dry at the bus stop, but this could set the tone for something bigger this weekend. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner breaks down the likelihood of winter weather coming in several days.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
4:45, taking a look as you're heading outside. It's cold out there. Wilson, Durham, all showing up right at freezing, but Fayetteville is sitting at 26. And with the wind chill, it feels like 20s almost everywhere. We take a look at temperature and wind chill together, and you can see it feels like 29 in Durham and Raleigh. It's 23 in Roxborough right now. It feels like 27 in Rocky Mount. Feels like it is 27 in Clinton. Feels like 22 in Fayetteville. So there's not much wind out there, but it doesn't take very much to make it feel a whole lot colder. So if you're thinking about heading outside for exercise today, I know that some of you are really tough, and it's all good, but expect temperatures to be in the mid-20s, feeling maybe even a little colder than that. Later this afternoon, we'll see a high temperature of 42, so we'll be in the low 40s this afternoon. Of course, coming up, we're looking at, of course, big changes that could arrive just in time for the weekend. I'll show you what's happening coming up.
Elizabeth, thank you. Fuquay-Varina police are looking for a man accused of stabbing someone at a Walmart. The stabbing happened just after 1 a.m. yesterday on East Broad Street. Officers are looking for David Pace. He's accused of stabbing another man at the front entrance. That man is expected to survive. If you know where David Pace is, give Fuquay-Varina police a call. Raleigh police have identified the man who died after getting hit by a car on I-40. Police told us Aaron Sandrum died from his injuries. Investigators say Sandrum was out of his car on the interstate right before the I-440 interchange Sunday night, and that's when another driver hit him. Police do not suspect the driver was impaired, and prosecutors have not filed charges. Today, Wake County leaders will meet to talk about affordable housing and expanding Barbel's Kids Museum. Commissioners are expected to discuss the museum expansion project contract. Funding could be approved today. If the board moves forward, the construction is expected to begin next month. Commissioners will also discuss additional funding for affordable housing in the Biltmore Hills community in Raleigh. The meeting starts at 2 this afternoon. The annual MLK Peace March returned to downtown Raleigh yesterday. Hundreds walked along Edenton Street as a way to pay tribute to Dr. King's legacy of nonviolent demonstrations and calls for peace. We spoke with participants who told us they plan to carry forth Dr. King's message.
This is one of the days that ought to bring us all together, not only July 4th, but for a great American like Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. It ought to bring us together.
We can come together regardless, as she stated, as race, creed, or color, it doesn't matter. That we're here to bond together. And with everything that's going on in this world, we definitely need the love.
This was the 40th year for the march. Many of us have heard that cold weather causes colds. Well, doctors at the Cleveland Clinic say that while you cannot get sick from the weather itself, viruses do thrive in cold weather environments. As temperatures drop, the nose and throat tend to dry out, making it easier for viruses to enter the body. People also spend more time indoors in close proximity to others during the winter, which can increase your chances of getting sick.
Make sure that you wash your hands frequently, that you cover your cough or your sneeze, and stay at home if you're sick. Also, eating healthy foods and keeping yourself nicely hydrated will go a long way into keeping yourself healthy.
So again, while cold weather doesn't directly make you sick, bundling up and staying inside during extreme temperatures can also help prevent cold-related health issues. It is 4:48, and when you see what the temperatures feel like out there, you probably do feel like staying inside. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Although now that it's the Tuesday after a long weekend, people have to face reality and get out.
Yeah, the kids are going to be out at the bus stop again this morning, and it is cold out there. This is a live look at Rocky Mountain Mills. Looking pretty this morning. Our skies are clear, but clear skies, of course, typically allow our temperatures to cool off very quickly. We have variable wind at 3 miles per hour, so it's not very gusty out there, but it still feels colder than it actually is with a little bit of wind chill. Right now it's 32. We can see temperatures dipping into the upper 20s this morning and then back above freezing about the time we get to lunchtime. Right now it feels like 29 in Durham. The white box on the right is the wind chill. It is 22 in Southern Pines. Feels like 22 in Fayetteville. It is 23 in Roxborough. Feels like 27 in Rocky Mount. So we have cold air in place right now. We're going to warm it up slightly by Thursday. We get closer to normal. And we're going to see the potential for maybe a little bit of light rain on Thursday and Friday. But once we get past Thursday into Friday, we see a big cold air mass dropping over us, and that can set the stage for some wintry precipitation over the weekend. Our temperature swing looks like this. Our normal high is 52, so we're about 10 degrees below that for today. We do see the temperatures swinging up on Thursday, but then those temperatures really crash starting Friday and definitely into Saturday, as our temperature could hover just at or a little bit above freezing. Our normal low is 32. Tomorrow morning, we're looking at 19, so we're not getting out of this cold air anytime soon. It will be slightly warmer Thursday and Friday, but still close to freezing. And then Saturday and Sunday, temperatures are back well into the 20s. We're talking about some significant winter weather impacts. It is unlikely all the way through Friday, but notice that we have Saturday and Sunday lit there in red for likely. We are tracking the potential for a fairly significant winter storm. This time, it looks like it could last for a fairly long time. Lots of moisture associated with it, lots of cold air, but it could be snow, it could be ice. Part of our viewing area could see a significant ice storm out of this. Still, we're going to see a lot of changes in what the models are showing us over the next few days. So over the next few days, we'll get into more of who could see what and how much. But start to be thinking about, what your plans are Saturday and Sunday, and know that we do have the potential for some significant winter weather.
Will do. Elizabeth, thank you. Looking at legends, 2 new documentaries about some remarkable people, and a SpongeBob movie at home. We'll show you what's happening in Hollywood. Remembering Valentino, the designer has died at the age of 93. A look at the legacy he leaves behind. Your first look at documentaries about 2 remarkable people and the latest on SpongeBob. Here's David Daniel with our Hollywood Minute.
Billy worked with Aretha Franklin, the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, all the greats.
You're in the group. It's great. I like a fifth Beatle.
One of the greatest keyboard players of all time is profiled in Billy Preston, That's the Way God Planned It. The film traces the triumphs and troubles of the Grammy winner and Rock and Roll Hall of Famer. It's in theaters February 20th.
When I was 5 years old, I started my chess training.
This 12-year-old girl with the open ponytail, and she is just dominating.
A real-life Queen's Gambit plays out in Queen of Chess. The documentary looks at Judith Polgar, a Hungarian prodigy who fought the sport's patriarchy, became the first woman to defeat the legendary Garry Kasparov, and is regarded as the best female player ever. Queen of Chess debuts February 6th on Netflix.
I'm taking you to the underworld.
Bikini Bottom's most famous figure heads to home video. The SpongeBob movie Search for SquarePants finds the Flying Dutchman taking the title character where no sponge has gone before. The adventure lands on digital platforms Tuesday with more than 20 minutes of bonus content. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Fashion designer Valentino Garavani has died at 93. His foundation announced the news. Valentino's work graced the runways and red carpets of the world. His designs were a favorite among the likes of First Lady Jackie Kennedy and movie stars such as Julia Roberts and Cate Blanchett. His funeral is planned for Friday. Prince Harry's case against British tabloids is on trial this week. Harry is among other high-profile people who accuse the Daily Mail's publisher of invading their privacy. The publisher is accused of hiring private investigators to bug the cars of prominent people and eavesdrop on phone calls. The publisher denies those claims. Ahead at 5, we are following breaking news near Butner. Part of I-85 in Granville County is shut down after someone was hit and killed by a car. The timeline for the investigation and getting that road back open. Journey through North Carolina. A group of Buddhist monks is getting closer and closer to Raleigh, where they're expected to be today and how you can follow their trek.